The economic relationship between China and the United States is evolving amid a complex mix of competition and cooperation, with both countries being the world's largest economic powers. This relationship not only shapes the economic trajectories of the two nations but also has significant implications for global supply chains, financial markets, and international trade. While the US aims to decrease its reliance on Chinese goods and technology, China is actively working to expand its influence through projects such as the Belt and Road Initiative. These efforts underscore the intricate and sensitive nature of the relationship, with both nations facing internal challenges while still finding common ground on issues like climate change, global supply chains, and economic security. Recently, China has made a decision that could have significant repercussions for the US economy. Can the United States effectively respond to these developments? Let's delve into this issue. Former President Donald Trump has announced plans to implement broad tariffs on imported goods, aiming to protect domestic manufacturing and reduce dependence on global supply chains. According to his advisory team, the upcoming administration could impose tariffs ranging from 45% to 60% on Chinese imports, putting substantial economic pressure on China and profoundly affecting trade between the two countries. This shift in policy could further intensify the ongoing economic and strategic rivalry between the US and China. In response to US sanctions and restrictions, China has recently adopted stringent export controls that extend beyond its borders. According to Bloomberg, China has not only restricted the export of essential resources such as gallium and germanium to the United States, but has also prohibited foreign companies from using Chinese-origin materials to supply American customers. These actions are intended to counter US policies and could have wide-reaching effects on global supply chains and trade regulations. Furthermore, China has imposed restrictions on the export of dual-use technologies and materials, which include drones and their associated components such as high-performance batteries, specialized sensors, and advanced optics. These technologies are crucial not only for commercial applications such as agricultural inspections and infrastructure monitoring but also for military and security purposes. These measures pose additional challenges to US defense procurement and national security. In December 2024, China announced a halt in the export of several critical minerals to the US, including gallium, germanium, antimony, and superhard materials. These minerals are vital for the production of semiconductors, solar energy modules, and defense equipment. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce stated that these measures are aimed at safeguarding national security and meeting international obligations, including preventing nuclear weapons proliferation. This decision follows the US's tightening of export controls on semiconductor manufacturing equipment and the expansion of its sanctions on Chinese companies, citing national security concerns and efforts to prevent China from accessing military technologies. China's actions have raised concerns about the stability of global raw material supply chains. The US Geological Survey reports that China controls around 60% of the world's germanium production and nearly 98% of global gallium supply, making it a dominant player in several industries. These export restrictions have led to skyrocketing prices for these minerals, with the price of antimony, for example, exceeding $25,000 per ton, double the previous rates. Notably, for the first time in 2024, China has introduced extraterritorial controls, targeting foreign companies and intermediaries that use Chinese materials to supply the US market. These companies could face legal consequences for violating the regulations, reflecting a level of control similar to that seen with US and EU sanctions. Restricted goods and technologies have become a focal point in the trade relationship between China and the US, particularly those materials essential for semiconductors, communications, and defense technologies. Recently, China has proposed more stringent controls on dual-use goods, products that have both civilian and military applications. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce announced that any individual or organization found transferring Chinese materials to the US would face severe penalties. This move highlights China's intent to strictly enforce its regulations and prevent any attempts to bypass them through alternative channels. China plays a critical role in the global supply chain for many high-tech industries. The United States has long relied on China for strategic minerals, particularly gallium and germanium, which are essential for manufacturing advanced semiconductors, communication systems, aerospace technologies, defense equipment, and renewable energy solutions. Gallium is primarily used to produce gallium arsenide, a material critical for high-speed and high-frequency semiconductors found in devices like mobile phones, radar systems, and advanced sensors. Germanium is essential for fiber optic systems, infrared imaging technology, and solar cells used in satellites and drones. According to the US Geological Survey, China controls more than half of global germanium production and nearly all high-purity gallium. This dominance has given China near monopoly status, so any restrictions on exports could lead to significant disruptions in US production. When China imposes export restrictions, it creates substantial risks for US manufacturing. Defense contractors may find it difficult to source semiconductor wafers needed for missile guidance systems or advanced radar, leading to delays in military deployments. Aerospace companies might face challenges in developing satellite and communication technologies, presenting financial and strategic risks. The US telecommunications sector, already under pressure to expand broadband and lead in the race for wireless technologies, could face major hurdles. Limited access to gallium could delay the deployment of 5G and 6G networks, hindering progress in digital infrastructure and technology. The defense industry could also experience shortages of critical systems such as night vision devices, navigation technology, and secure communication satellites. Although gallium and germanium are less well known than rare earth elements, they are indispensable for modern technologies. Prolonged shortages or price increases could force defense contractors to redesign systems, invest heavily in alternatives, or seek supplies from other markets, increasing costs and lengthening development cycles, which could undermine US military readiness and technological advantage. The semiconductor, electric vehicle, and renewable energy sectors would also be affected by these supply disruptions. The scarcity of gallium and germanium could drive up production costs, raise consumer prices, and slow the US's transition to a green economy, affecting industries critical to climate change mitigation. China's actions are not only putting pressure on US supply chains but also heightening global competition, compelling other nations to modernize and find alternative solutions to maintain the technological edge. The minerals currently under restriction include gallium and germanium, which are critical for semiconductors, communications, and defense hardware. Gallium is crucial for manufacturing gallium arsenide chips used in high-frequency applications such as mobile phones, satellite communications, and radar, while germanium plays a key role in fiber optic cables, infrared imaging, and defense systems. These materials are vital for a wide range of advanced technologies, and any restrictions on their export will have wide-reaching consequences for US industries. Tightening export controls on these materials could severely disrupt US supply chains, making it difficult for American manufacturers to secure key components. This would not only slow production timelines but also drive up manufacturing costs, stifling innovation and diminishing US competitiveness in sectors like telecommunications, renewable energy, and defense technologies. Losing reliable access to Chinese supplies may force US companies to seek other suppliers or ramp up domestic production, which would incur higher costs and further strain the economy. In addition to gallium and germanium, China has also announced tighter controls on a range of dual-use goods, including advanced computer hardware such as high-performance chips, memory modules, and specialized devices used in both consumer electronics and military systems. Artificial intelligence tools, algorithms, machine learning models, and related software are also coming under scrutiny due to their role in surveillance, autonomous weapons, and cybersecurity. Moreover, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, and aerospace materials such as advanced alloys and composites are likely to face stricter controls as well. These measures carry important strategic and geopolitical consequences. By limiting the export of critical resources and expertise, China aims to protect its national security, maintain its technological edge, and prevent rivals from gaining access to advanced technologies. The restrictions also bolster China's domestic research and development efforts, fueling growth in its high-tech sectors. On the diplomatic front, China is using these export controls as a leverage tool, seeking to gain commercial and geopolitical advantages by controlling access to vital materials. Compliance with these new export controls presents a significant challenge for US corporations operating globally. To ensure that dual-use items are not illicitly transferred, companies will need to implement stringent compliance measures and sophisticated management systems. Violating these regulations could result in severe penalties and reputational damage. As a result, US companies may need to invest in robust monitoring systems to ensure regulatory adherence. It remains unclear how China will enforce its extraterritorial authority under its 2020 export control laws, but the immediate priority will likely be to prevent Chinese companies from disguising shipments or stopping third-party nations from helping US companies circumvent bans. The deepening economic and political ties between China and Russia are reshaping the global economic landscape and strengthening Beijing's position in the face of ongoing trade tensions with Washington. Despite their deep economic interdependence, escalating trade hostility and US restrictions on Chinese technology have driven China to seek new partners like Russia to reduce reliance on the US market. Russia, as one of the largest exporters of energy, metals, and raw materials, plays a crucial role in China's strategy by helping to mitigate supply chain vulnerabilities. Projects like the Siberian oil pipeline help ensure long-term energy security for China, lessening the impact of US efforts to curtail its influence. As the US tightens export controls on high-tech products such as semiconductors and related equipment, Russia is increasingly collaborating with China to bolster its technological capacity. This partnership reduces China's reliance on Western technology and weakens America's leverage over Chinese technological advancements. Financially, Russia and China are working to diminish the dominance of the US dollar and alternative payment systems like SWIFT, using local currencies in bilateral trade and experimenting with other financial systems to bypass Western sanctions. These efforts not only help both countries avoid the pressures of US sanctions but also enhance their financial autonomy. Geopolitically, Russia supports China in international forums such as the United Nations Security Council and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, aiding Beijing in resisting US attempts to isolate it. Additionally, infrastructure projects such as the Northern Sea Route and trade routes connecting Russia,